We're jumping straight into POA technologies today. Everyone is watching the price action, but the real story is the transition from a science project to a manufacturing powerhouse.
It really is. I mean, it's a fascinating moment to be looking at this company. If you've been watching the charts, you've seen the volatility.
Oh, absolutely.
The stock's been down, what, 8 to 17% recently? And that's right after this huge 40% run-up since the start of the year. It's been a roller coaster.
And the reason for that drop, well, it's not exactly a secret. It's a classic case of the market digesting a huge piece of news.
The offering.
The $150 million registered direct offering. But here's the tension, right? This is why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
The market is panicking about dilution, worrying their slice of the pie is getting smaller. But at the same time, the company is gearing up to solve arguably the single biggest bottleneck in AI data centers.
Which is moving data at the speed of light.
Exactly. You're tuned into the Easy Money Show, where we make sense of the market's biggest moves. I'm glad you're with us.
And if you want to spot these trends before the crowd, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button right now.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Because on the surface, this looks risky. We're talking about a company that, let's just be honest, barely made any money last quarter.
Right.
Everyone is talking about NVIDIA, about the chips themselves,
Yeah.
the GPUs. So why are we focusing on POA technologies? What even is an optical interposer, and why should anyone care about it with this massive AI boom going on?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question. And to get it, you have to look at the physics, the physical limitations of what we're building.
Okay.
We have these incredibly fast AI chips,
Okay.
They process info just mind-boggling speeds. The problem is connecting them. It's the plumbing.
The plumbing.
Yeah. Right now we use copper wires for short distances, traditional optics for longer ones. But copper has basically hit a wall.
A wall, like it just stops.
In a sense, yeah, physics just gets in the way. As you try to push more data faster through copper, resistance goes up, it gets too slow, and, maybe more importantly, it gets way too hot.
Ah, the power consumption.
It consumes a massive amount of power. And in a data center where cooling is already a nightmare, that's a total deal breaker.
So it's kind of like having a Ferrari engine, but you've connected it to the wheels with, I don't know, a rusted bicycle chain.
That's a perfect analogy. You lose all the power before it even hits the road. The bottleneck is very, very real.
So the answer is light.
The industry knows the answer is light. Photonics. It's faster, it goes further, runs much cooler. But the way we do it now, the way we build the little transceivers that plug into the servers, it's incredibly complex.
Complex how?
Think of it like handcrafting a Swiss watch. Inside these tiny optical modules, you have tiny lasers, tiny lenses. You have to align them with sub-micron precision.
Submicron. So we're talking fractions of a human hair?
Exactly. If the laser doesn't hit that lens at the exact perfect angle, the signal just dies. It's gone.
So right now, a person or a really expensive machine has to sit there and physically tweak it until it's perfect.
Precisely. It's called active alignment. You turn the laser on, you measure the light, you nudge the lens, measure again, and then you glue it all down. It's expensive, it's slow, and you can't scale it.
You can't just flip a switch and make a million Swiss watches.
You can't. And that's where POA comes in.
Yeah.
They claim to have fixed this with their optical interposer.
Okay, so break that down. Is this just a better wire?
Yeah.
Or is it something totally different?
It's a platform shift. This is the real aha moment. Think of the optical interposer as a silicon circuit board, but for light.
Okay.
Instead of hand wiring or manually aligning all these little parts with expensive lasers, Hewitt has figured out a way to build the entire thing using semiconductor manufacturing. They're basically printing the optical engine on a wafer.
So, wait. Instead of a technician tweaking one lens under a microscope, they just print 1,000 of them on a silicon wafer, just like they do with computer chips.
That's it. It's the semiconductorization of photonics. They're taking a mechanical assembly process and turning it into a chip process.
Yeah.
The magic phrase here is passive alignment.
Passive alignment. Okay, explain that to me like I'm 5.
All right, imagine a Lego board. The little studs on the board are perfectly placed, right? When you snap a Lego brick on, it just goes in one spot. It aligns itself.
It just clicks.
It just clicks. You don't need to measure it. That's passive alignment. The way POA builds the interposer, the lasers, and all the other components drop into place.
Yeah.
They align themselves. No expensive active alignment needed.
Which means lower cost, lower power, smaller size.
And scalability. That's the most important part for AI.
Yeah.
If you need 10 million of them, you just print more wafers. You don't need 10 new factories full of assembly lines. That is their moat.
Okay, that sounds incredible on paper. It really does. It sounds like the Holy Grail. But we've heard cool science stories before. Is this actually real? Is anyone buying this stuff?
And that's the pivot point we're seeing right now. It is moving from the lab to the fab. We just saw them get a $5 million production order.
$5 million. Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate. $5 million is a rounding error for a company like Microsoft. Why should we get excited about that?
Context. It's all about context. 5 million sounds small next to the giants, but for a company just coming out of R&D, it's massive. It's the signal. It's the shift from, hey, look at our prototype, to we need these in our systems now.
Someone wrote a real check.
Someone wrote a check. And it's not just any product. They won the Teralight Award for their 1.6T optical engines.
Let's talk about that number 1.6T. Why does that matter?
Speed. Pure speed. The industry is moving from 800G to 1.6T and then to 3.2T. That's where AI is going. The data centers being built now need 800G. The ones on the drawing board for next year need 1.6T. Pubi is right there.
And who are they working with? They can't do this alone.
Their partner list is.
Yeah.
It's pretty serious. You got Semtech, Mitsubishi Electric. But the one that really stands out to me, the one that validates this inside the biggest supply chains, is the connection to Celestial AI.
Right, and Celestial AI got acquired by Marvell. That's huge.
It's a massive validation. Marvell is a titan. The fact that Celestial AI's photonic fabric was built on Poeti's platform, and then Marvell comes in and spends over $3 billion to buy them.
Wow.
It tells you the underlying tech, the plumbing from Poeti, is viable. It puts their tech right next to the biggest players.
It's like being the company that makes the specialized tires for the race car that just won the Grand Prix. People might not know the tire brand, but the team that bought them sure does.
Exactly. And let's not forget, a company like Marvell does its homework. They strip it down, they test it. That relationship is a stamp of approval that, well, you can't really buy.
And that brings us back to the money, the $150 million raise.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because investors usually hate dilution.
Right.
But did it actually solve a problem for them?
It solved their biggest problem,
Yeah.
the balance sheet. Before this, there was always that question. Do they have the cash to survive to mass production, that valley of death for startups?
Right.
With this raise, that question is off the table. They cleared the balance sheet. They have zero debt.
So they have a war chest now.
They do. They have the cash to scale up in Malaysia, where their high-volume production is. And there was one other number that jumped out at me from the reports, even with the low revenue.
Let me guess. Gross margin.
The gross margin, 100%.
That's unheard of. I mean, how is that even possible? Are they
Yeah.
selling air? Software companies brag about 80%.
I know it sounds like magic, but it's their business model. At this stage, a lot of their revenue is from things like licensing and NRE, non-recurring engineering. It's almost pure profit on work that's already been done.
Ah, I see.
But even as they move to product, their fab-light model gives them incredible unit economics. They design the chips, but partners make them. They don't own the factories, they just own the IP.
Okay, so that's the bull case. And it's strong. You've got unique tech, cash in the bank, validation from huge partners, but, and there's always a but on this show.
There's always a flip side. We're not cheerleaders.
Let's talk about the bear case. Why did the stock drop 17%? We know it's dilution, but break that down.
It's just simple supply and demand. To get that $150 million, they printed more shares, 20.7 million new shares at $7.25.
So more slices in the pizza.
Exactly. Your slice gets smaller. And the market punished them for it instantly. And frankly, if you just look at the financials right now without the story, just the spreadsheet, it looks scary.
It does. Let's be honest about the numbers.
Yeah.
Q3 2025 revenue was only $298,000.
Less than 300 grand. For a company with a market cap over $1 billion, that ratio is just insane.
It's vertigo-inducing. And what was the loss?
Net loss for that same quarter was nearly 9.4 million. So you're burning almost 10 million to make 300,000. That's a huge hope premium baked into the stock price. You're paying for 2027, not today.
And their track record on estimates isn't perfect, is it?
It's not. They missed Q3 earnings estimates by 37%. So this is an execution story now. The risk isn't the tech. We know the tech works, the patents are there. The risk is, can they actually manufacture at scale in Malaysia?
Because they don't own the factories.
Exactly. They rely on partners. If a partner has a delay, POA-IT has a delay. If there's a supply chain snag, POA-IT takes the hit. They are the architect, not the construction crew.
And competition isn't sleeping. I mean, Intel's in this space, Cisco's in this space.
It's crowded. You have traditional silicon photonics, other approaches. If the AI hype cools down even a little, or if a competitor catches up, That billion-dollar valuation could collapse. There are no profits to support it yet. It's a tightrope walk.
So we have a company with potential to be the backbone of AI, but the financials of a startup. Which
Okay.
brings us to what to watch. Over the next, say, 30 to 90 days, what are the triggers? What moves the needle?
You're watching for proof the money is moving. First up, earnings. Q4 2025 earnings are expected around March 30th, 2026.
And what are we looking for there?
Revenue ramp. We need to see that $5 million order start showing up on the top line. We don't need profits yet, but we need to see that revenue line start to climb. We need proof of life.
And there's that Sivers Semiconductors partnership. Why is that one important?
Yes, this is for their external light sources, or ELS. Lasers generate heat. Heat is the enemy, so the industry is moving towards separating the laser from the processor. We're expecting prototype demos in the first half of 26. If those go well, it opens up a whole new market.
And keep an eye on Malaysia.
Absolutely. Malaysia is the engine room. Any news out of there about production ramping up is critical. And specifically, you're listening for any announcements about 1.6T or 3.2T engines being sampled with the hyperscalers.
The big cloud companies.
Amazon, Google, Microsoft. If one of them says we are testing POET's engine, that's the golden ticket.
So basically, we're watching to see if they can turn that $150 million cash pile into actual factories running at full speed.
Yes, it is entirely an execution story now. The science is done, the funding is secured. Now they just have to build it. No more excuses.
So what does this all mean for someone listening? It really feels like we're at a crossroads.
It does. We saw what happened to companies that supplied the chips for the AI boom, the NVIDIAs of the world. But are we now looking at the company that supplies the nervous system for those chips?
That is the provocative thought, isn't it? The brain is only as fast as the nerves that connect it. If this optical interposer really is the best way to connect these massive AI brains, then PO8 sits at a very, very strategic choke point.
The technology is protected by patents. The cash is in the bank.
The only thing left is to build it.
It's a high-risk, high-reward play, but the pieces are certainly on the board. Thanks for breaking it down.
Always a pleasure.
Keep your eyes on the tape, and we'll see you on the next one.